Comes too early, hands already warm, working for a better day, trying to keep me warm. Boss man count his tally, we just count our turn. Fair don't come easy, I had to stand and fight for mine. Oh Lord, hear me now. Working better day, keep me warm. People talk about difference, but I just see the same. Every heart need kindness, every soul need a name, and we're deep. Children laughing somewhere, sounds of better days. Keep the light inside you, don't let the darkness stay. So sing a song for mercy, sing it clear and kind. We all walk this same good earth, just trying to ease our mind. Morning comes too early, hands already warm, working for a better day, trying to keep me warm. Boss man count his tally, we just count our turn. Fair don't come easy, I had to stand and fight for mine. Oh Lord, hear me now. Better day, keep me warm. People talk about difference, but I just see the same. Every heart needs kindness, every soul need a name, and we're deep. Children laughing somewhere, sounds of better days. Keep the light inside you, don't let the darkness stay. So sing a song for mercy, sing it clear and kind. We all walk this same good earth, just trying to ease our mind. Morning comes too early, hands already warm, working for a better day, trying to keep me warm. Boss man count his tally, we just count our time. Fair don't come easy, I had to stand and fight for mine. Oh Lord, hear me now. Working better day, keep me warm. People talk about difference, but I just see the same. Every heart need kindness, every soul need a name, and we're deep. Children laughing somewhere, sounds of better days. Keep the light inside you, don't let the darkness stay. So sing a song for mercy, sing it clear and kind. We all walk this same good earth, just trying to ease our mind.
this time, I'd like to ask all my fellow citizens to silence their cell phones. Last night's election results, or yesterday's election results, I should say. Danielle Bird with 169 votes. Pauline Gauthier with 256 votes. Mark Randall with 275 votes, and that was for Board of Selectmen. And the school board, Evan Paquette with 188 votes, and Jolene Randall with 287 votes. Okay, and we'll get started with the articles. Let's see, I believe it's Article 3, to choose 2 members of the Ella Augusta Thompson Committee for 3 years. Do we have any nominations? Yes, sir.
I'd like to nominate Tyler Rose and Eva Brown.
We have a nomination for Tyler Rose and Ava Brown. Do we have a second? We have a second. All those in favor? Opposed? Thank you. To choose 1 member of the Julia Adams Morse Library Committee for 5 years is Article number 4. Do we have any nominations? Yes, Christine.
I nominate Greg D'Augustine.
Thank you. We have a nomination for Greg D'Augustine. Do we have any seconds? We have a second? And another one. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion passes. To choose a budget committee for the ensuing year. The present members are Brent Armstrong, Don Bedford, Holly Ewing, Robin Healy, Robert Hodgkins, Tom Martin, Ryan MacArthur, Louis McCarthy, Freeland Witham, and Phil Lavoy. Do we have a motion?
I move to nominate all the current members and Phil Lavoy.
Thank you. We have a nomination for Brent Armstrong, Don Bedford, Holly Ewing, Robin Healy, Robert Hodgkins, Tom Martin, Ryan MacArthur, Louis McCarthy, Freeland Witham, and Phil Lavoy. Do we have a second? We have seconds. Any discussion?
Yes. In the book, we have, I believe, 9 or 10 members on there. Only 7 showed up. Who were the no-shows?
Somebody want to answer that question?
I know Phil had to leave early, but his name was on there, so.
I can speak for one of them. My name was on there, but I pulled myself out for medical reasons.
Okay.
I can speak for another one. I was asked if I would convene the committee, and I said I was available on a particular date, but I was not available on the date that it needed to be held to be able to make it present time for this. And so we knew in advance of that meeting that I was going to be able to be present, but I participated remotely.
Thank you.
I can speak for the third one, I don't know.
There we go. Yes, Sheldon.
I would like to see the nominees accept the nomination, because if they're not even gonna show up at town meeting, we certainly shouldn't have them in the budget.
Okay, is Brent Armstrong here? Okay. Brent, do you accept your nomination?
Yeah, we'll go another year.
Okay. Don Bedford, do you accept your nomination? No. Okay. Holly Ewing, do you accept your nomination?
Yes, I do.
Robin Healy, do you accept your nomination?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Robert Hodgkins, do you accept your nomination? Tom Martin, do you accept your nomination?
Yes.
Ryan MacArthur, do you accept your nomination?
Yes.
Louis McCarthy, do you accept your nomination?
Yes.
Freeland Witham, do you accept your nomination?
Yes.
Phil Lavoy, do you accept your nomination?
Yes.
All set, Sheldon?
Move the question.
At this point, we have a motion to move the question. We have a second on the nominations, and all those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Article 6, to see if the town will vote to charge 7% annual interest on 1/2 taxes not paid by November 16th, 2026, and 1/2 taxes not paid by May 1st, 2027, pursuant to MRSA Title 36, Section 504.4.
505,
Pardon?
it's 505.4.
Yes, thank you. I stand corrected.
Yep.
Do we have a motion? Thank you, Christine. Do we have a second? We have a second. Any discussion? Yes, Steve?
I don't pay the taxes, but I wasn't sure. When are how much time does that give people to pay the taxes?
We send them out in the end of September,
Okay,
so that gives them a good month and a half.
all right. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? All those opposed? Motion passes. Article 7, to see if the citizens of Greene will vote to authorize the Board of Selectmen to dispose of tax-acquired real estate property under such terms as they deem advisable, except that the municipal officers shall use the special process required by MRSA Title 36, subsection 943-C, if they choose to sell property to anyone other than the former owner. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. We have a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Article 8, to see if the citizens of Greene will vote to authorize the selectmen to dispose of any town-owned property, any town-owned personal property with a value of $2,000 or less after advertising on WGLT TV and in locations of public notice postings such as the town office, Brewley's Auto, Gowell's, A&A Hardware, and the Town of Greene's website and Facebook page. Do we have a motion? We have a motion. Do we have a second? We have seconds. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Article 9, to see if the town will authorize the tax collector or treasurer to accept prepayment of taxes not yet committed pursuant to MRSA Title 36, subsection 506, and to pay no interest on such prepayments. Do we have a motion? We have a motion. Do we have seconds? We have seconds. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in, yes, ma'am.
Does that cause any issues at the office for handling those funds for future allocation to a future time frame?
No, it does not.
It does not. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion passes. Article 10, to see if the citizens of Greene will vote to pay no interest on the overpayment of real estate and personal property taxes. We have a motion and seconds. Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Article 11, to see if the citizens of Greene will vote to pay for tax abatements and applicable interest granted during the fiscal year of 2026, 2027 from overlay. Explanation is the selectmen as assessors are authorized to raise overlay under Title 36 MRSA subsection 710, but voters' authorization is required to spend overlay. Overlay cannot be more than 5% of the tax commitment. Do we have a motion? We have a motion. Do we have a second? We have a second. Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Article 12, to see if the town will vote to accept all snowmobile money received from the Maine Department of Conservation, Agriculture, Conservation and Forestry Snowmobile Program and appropriate the money received to the Green Dragon Snowmobile Club for the purpose of maintaining their snowmobile trails, which are open to the public, and to authorize the municipal officers to enter into an agreement with the club under conditions that municipal officers may deem advisable. Do we have a motion? We have a motion. Do we have a second? We have a second. Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion passes. All those opposed? The motion passes. Article 13. The following votes from Selectmen and Budget Committee are yes, no, and abstained. Article 13, to see what sum of money the citizens of Greene will vote to raise and/or appropriate for administrative wages expense account for the ensuing year. Selectmen recommend $349,637 on a 5-0-0 vote, and Budget Committee recommends $365,093 in a 6-1-0 vote. Do we have a motion?
Move to accept the Budget Committee recommendation.
What we have for a motion on the floor is to recommend that we use the Budget Committee's recommendation. Do we have a second? We have a second. Any discussion? Yes? Well, we have seconds. Yes?
Well, in looking at the Budget Committee's note in the warrant book, I'm just wondering what's causing the problem between the Budget Committee and the Select Board. It seems like the voters have the last 2 years voted this account to be greater than what's been expended. So I'm just wondering, I'd be interested to hear both from the Select Board and from someone on the Budget Committee to explain their thinking.
Somebody like to explain that?
A lot of it we can't explain because it's personnel. But there is a few things that are going on that I can discuss. And most of it basically is about hiring and firing some employees that we have. And it is up to the selectmen as per state statute that we do set the town manager's wages.
Yes.
This discussion seems to circle around Carol and her job at the town office. I, for one, would like to say every time I've come to talk to her about a matter, she's been very straightforward, very cooperative, and I like the way she's doing her job at the town office. I'm not so sure what all these other guys have against her, but apparently there isn't. This is the second or third year we've tried to do this, so why can't we get over it? If you don't like her, fire her, okay? But meanwhile, she's doing a great job, and thank you, Carol, for what you're doing.
Thank you.
Sheldon.
What some of you don't understand is the town manager position, she is an employee of the selectmen. That's what she's hired to do. She's hired by the selectmen. She can be fired by the selectmen. And only the selectmen are present during her yearly evaluation. Now, the request for the selectmen's recommendation was after her yearly evaluation. And we didn't set the amount, she did. That was the amount that she brought to us to consider. We didn't reduce the amount that she brought to us to consider, but it's based on her yearly evaluation and her job performance. None of you were present during that evaluation. You elect selectmen to do a job that they do. They hire a town manager, they evaluate the town manager, and I think the pay that she has been received is adequate for the job that she has. In the last 2 years, we took a lot of her responsibilities away. We hired a road supervisor at a cost of over $70,000 a year. He took care of the transfer station and the public works. She has a bookkeeper that we pay monthly to do bookkeeping for her. All of these things were done by the previous town manager without the assistance. So my personal opinion as a selectman is, now as a private citizen is, I believe that she is being treated very fairly and the compensation is adequate. I don't think that we need the citizens to take the responsibility of the selectmen away just because somebody is their friend or they talk nice to them when they go into the town office.
Yes, ma'am.
Just a couple of comments. We are, according to the annual report, a growing town. And we're also going through a reevaluation for our taxes. And there's a whole host of things that are going on that requires an experienced person to do this. Carol has been doing an exceptional job since she got here. This is just from my vision. There was a brouhaha with her and a contract that we did not honor that we had signed with her. We are overdue to pay this woman a competitive salary with other town managers. If we were to lose her, I guarantee you, you would not get somebody for this money. Hear, hear.
Yes, sir.
So I'm Ryan MacArthur. My name's been mentioned a few times in town meeting, not a town meeting, select board meeting. I'm the guy that new to the committee, and while this was being discussed, there was a lot of things, kind of what was being discussed here. I was on my phone with my one bar doing some research, and I very quickly learned that she's very low in compensation, and I threw out a number that I thought was necessary and appropriate. She's not only the town manager. If you ever get an email from her, or you look on the town webpage, pages stick when you're standing in front of a crowd and you're trying to turn it up. You ever notice that? She's also the town clerk, the treasurer, the tax collector, emergency management director, general assistant administrator, and the road commissioner. And with regard to the bookkeeping thing, in the accounting world, there's a thing called separation of responsibilities. And what that means is, or what that enforces, is that one person doesn't have too much authority. So if you're keeping the books, so to speak, you're able to do more than you may necessarily be allowed to do, with meaning there's not another person involved. So that's very normal. If you ever go to a bank or if you're business owners yourself, you know you don't want one person keeping the books, signing the checks, approving the bills. When that sort of thing happens, then you get into trouble. So the budget committee, we made a recommendation. We published a budget note that explained all this. Now, when that budget note went to the select board, and my understanding is that budget notes periodically go. It's not uncommon, it's not common, but the note explains the rationale for why the budget committee made a recommendation. When it went to the select board, they voted 3-2 to essentially silence the budget committee and to keep us from communicating the rationale for that. Which I find really interesting, because when I was reading through the town report, page 5, second paragraph, and this is from the Board of Selectmen's report. You got the report, I'll read it along with you. It says the highway department has had some challenges retaining their workforce, but they continue to do a great job, and I would agree with that. The crew only is 3 to 4 at most. Typically the crew is 5 or 6. So this goes along with what we were saying in the budget committee about compensation really needs to be looked at and examined. In this instance, we were talking about the town manager. So after the select board silenced us that we couldn't communicate directly to you, there's supposed to be a brochure today with graphs and things, and they didn't make it, or some people have it.
They're at the table.
Awesome. So if you don't get one, if you don't have one, take one. So we put that together, and what we found was, when I was doing some deep dive into all this, she's paid at the 10th percentile. So what that means is, if you take 100 town managers, 90 of them make more than her. And not all of those 90 people have all the other positions that the incumbent has. And you know, I don't know Kara at all. This is definitely not personal. I met her the day she sworn me in to be on the budget committee. I've seen her when I pay my taxes or register my car and get my dog, whatever I have to do every year. So the compensation for the town manager, she is the chief executive officer. She's the person that's making sure everything happens. She's the one that's responsible and accountable for it all. And the pool of potential town managers in Maine is pretty small. And I know in my profession, everybody knows everybody. They know where they work. And I suspect everyone knows Carol, and that they all know that she's very low in compensation. And so that develops a reputation for the town, as it does for public works. And we're seeing that. And the select board even mentioned that. So when she decides to retire or moves on, or for whatever reason the position becomes vacant, qualified people are not going to want to work in Greene because they know they can easily figure out, just like I did, hey, that's a town that's paying the town manager 10% of the 10th percentile, and they want all these other things done.
Can I ask what the source of your data is?
Maine Municipal Association.
So it was the MMA, and
Yes.
is that report done annually or biannually? I'm just curious to know how frequent that report comes out.
You know, I don't carry a lot of paper. I'm a
That's
computer guy.
okay.
If you email me, I can tell
That's okay,
you.
I can look it up, I'm just curious. It is annually, and is that self-reported data, so as in the municipalities report in the salaries? And is that an obligation on the part of the municipality to report that data based on membership?
It's just, you don't have to do that.
It's a survey.
It's a survey.
So it's a select group of municipalities that decide to, so it's not the whole town's report, it's a select group of municipalities that participate in that survey?
Right.
Okay,
Sometimes we do, if we have time, then sometimes.
gotcha. Okay, so the data is, I'm not poking holes in the data, I'm just trying to understand the 10th percentile is really 10% of the folks that chose to participate in the survey, not necessarily 10% of all of the municipalities in the state. That's what I was trying to decipher.
Thank you. Yes.
My question remains the same no matter who holds the position of town manager or select board? It's a multi-part question. I'm wondering, what does Leeds make? What does Turner make? And how does the select board or budget committee come up with a 15 to 18% raise for one position, but then the rest of the town employees might get a 2 or 3% raise?
Go ahead. Leeds is a assistant manager, I believe, and she gets paid roughly $64,000, and pretty much does the same thing as our town manager does. Town of Turner, which she's been there over 10 years, makes $94,000. Last time I checked, it was 94.
And he,
And I got it from the selectmen the other day.
it's right here, Mark, 101, 804.
That's what you're getting it off this information. Yeah, I don't know if this is true. I talked to the selectman over there directly. That's all I'm saying.
And he doesn't work every day.
Yes, Steve?
Yeah, could I make a motion that we actually have a written ballot, that way there, people can decide without,
We have a motion to have a written ballot on this.
Discussion, it doesn't make any difference what we vote here, the selectmen decide on their own. So you can vote all you want, secret or not secret. We've tried to give her money the last 3 years, and they've decided not to give it to her. So are they going to do what the town wants to do, the town people want to do? Or are we gonna have 6 guys that live, and 1 woman, decide what's gonna happen? So, doesn't do any good. We gotta get over this hurdle of, they don't like her, or some problem with her, so let's figure that one out.
You know, Sheldon had said that my evaluation, I was not allowed to go into the executive session during my evaluation, which is actually illegal. I had 2 people stand at the door and say, I'm not going in if she goes in there. And so as the better person, I said, okay, but I want to be able to have and ask questions after. Yes, you will. So once I went into my office and sat there for a good 45 minutes to an hour while they talked about my evaluation. And at the end, they all took off except for 1. And then that person came in and told me a 5-minute conversation of what was gonna happen, what they said, which, you know, what wasn't anything. So some people are saying about it's personal, it's a personal matter. Well, it's a personnel matter. Well then, if I'm doing something wrong, I wanna know about it. You know, I don't see that there's anything for a personnel matter that I'm doing wrong. You know, I'm very good at my job. I love this town. I don't live here anymore, but I still own property, so I am still, you know, a taxpayer. This is my hometown, and it's very frustrating for me. But
As far as the compensation for the town crew, we as selectmen put a wage of $25 per hour for we instructed Carol to give them that $25. She gave them $24.50 just out of spite because she did not get her raise. She did not give the raise to the town supervisor because she did not get a raise. She actually sat in her office and told the selectmen and the supervisor she was an effing boobier and she was gonna get her effing money. That's one reason why. Carol, 2 people did not tell me that. Hold on, hold on, tell me that.
It's getting out of hand, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? Sheldon?
This is a perfect example why we can't discuss personnel matters in public, because they generally end up in a lawsuit. So you people here, you're putting the selectmen at a disadvantage because we cannot discuss things that happen throughout the year, things that happen in executive sessions. Now, if you don't like what the selectmen do, then you should elect different selectmen. That's how it works. Their job is to oversee the salary of the town manager. If you don't like the way they do their job, then run for selectman yourself or elect someone else, but you do not take the responsibility away from the employer of the employee. do not do that.
Steve?
So the town of Greene runs off the state's charter system. We, in my opinion, the town of Greene, we have a little over 4,000 people. We need to have our own charter. If we had our own charter, we could designate in the charter who decides what we're gonna pay our town manager. It's time, we're a big enough town, we need our own charter. Stop running off the state's charter. That's my opinion.
I was just going to ask that we move the question, the motion on the floor is the budget committee recommendation. And I appreciate, what Sheldon is saying, it's the selectmen's decision, but I think this is another opportunity for the people here to communicate to the select board what the intention is.
Before we move the question, I have a question on something else other than Carol's pay. The elections, so far this year, we've used up 2,300, and we have at least one more election, and this is counting the one we just had. So are we gonna have enough to cover that?
We will.
And, okay, all right.
Thank you.
We can't hear we can't hear people speak. Is there a way that you can have people turn around and?
My question was, with the elections we've got coming up and the one we just had, according to the book, so far this year, we've spent $2,375 on elections. We just had one last night, and we're gonna have at least one more in this fiscal cycle. I just wondered if we had enough money, and if going forward 7,500 would be enough. But Carol has said, yes, it is, and that was my question.
Anybody else? Glenn?
Mentioned something about, he said that the selectmen decided $25 for this person. That was the third raise that he had gotten, and the town manager is in charge of giving raises and setting the wages and the pay, which is less than what they should be for public works, which that's what we're trying to do today too, is make theirs higher and so that people will stay. And he hadn't even been there 6 months, this gentleman, and he got 3 raises. So that's why I gave him $24.50, and then at his 6-month evaluation, I would give him the other extra 50 cents. But someone else came into my office and was yelling at me saying, why didn't you give him what we said? So, thanks. Sorry.
Yes, sir.
I could go on.
First, I would just offhand say, you need to stop talking about all this personnel stuff in public, because you're opening the town up to liability, and we don't need to flush money down the toilet on unnecessary lawsuits and stuff. But my basic question is, was already kind of alluded to, is that I'm starting to wonder why we're doing any of this voting on any of these articles if the board could just choose to ignore it.
If I'm not mistaken, there are some articles that the board cannot ignore.
Well, what are we here voting on if you can just ignore what we vote on any of the articles?
Because that's town meeting. That's what we do.
There's a motion on the floor to move the question, and also, I believe, for secret ballot.
Yes.
No more discussion.
You withdraw your motion for the secret ballot, Steve?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay. One more question after that. Yes, sir.
So, we're comparing our town manager's salary to surrounding towns, I guess. When we're doing that, shouldn't we know what population and revenue is in those towns before we vote here to set salaries? I completely understand that may or may not be enough money, right? Everybody has an idea of what they're willing to work for, but they don't have to accept the job. representatives, just like any form of government, right? Just like you would your senator or some such thing, right? So if we're saying, well, we as townspeople didn't get to vote on that, we should be voting on whether any particular employee gets more money. We did. We voted for our select people, and they've been over the books. They should know better than us, you know, what we have for revenue coming in and what we can afford to pay out.
Thank you. Yes, Steve, we need a second on. Okay. Thank you. Yes, Steve?
I'd be willing to pull back a written ballot if, we're looking at a $16,000 roughly increase. But it's not, we're not specifically putting that money towards our town manager. It's still up to the selectmen to make the choice. So $16,000 is not gonna kill our budget right now. And it's up to the selectmen to make the decision, not us. And as you guys, as it's come up on the floor many times, I was an employer for 40-some odd years in my electrical business. The thing is, I made the decision. Now, we have selectmen to make the decision. So, whether it's, I mean, we're arguing about $16,000 while our school budget is into multi-millions. So, $16,000, we're wasting a lot of our time here. Let the selectmen do their job, and we can vote in $16,000 if you want to have a vote. I mean, I don't mind pulling back a written vote just so waste a lot of time.
Thank you, Steve. Okay, so we have a motion and a second for a secret ballot, and we have a motion to move the question as well. So at this point, we will move the question. Discussion has already occurred, and we will move the question at this point.
Tell them which one you're voting on.
Yeah.
The budget.
Okay, so on your ballot, what you'll want to do is write down the budget committee or the selectmen's.
No, we're voting on
Motion to the budget committee.
the budget committee motion.
I stand corrected, thank you. Yeah, exactly. It'll be the budget committee, yes or no? Okay? see what sum of money the citizens of Greene will vote to raise and/or appropriate for administrative wages expense account for the ensuing year. The Budget Committee recommendation is what was motioned and seconded, and 45 yes and 28 no. So the motion passes.
I would say that the selectmen have got the idea of how the townspeople feel about that.
Well, the discussion is now over.
I just want to make one thing clear, I'm one of 5, one vote. Wasn't just me that voted not to do it.
I know.
Okay.
The discussion is over.
I thought this was picked on me, and I don't get
Okay. Article 14, to see what sum of money the citizens of Greene will vote to raise and/or appropriate for employee expense benefit account for the ensuing year. Selectmen recommend $290,173 in a 5-0-0 vote, and Budget Committee recommends $290,173 in a 7-0-0 vote. Do we have a motion? We have a motion and a second. All those in, any discussions?
Yeah, PFMLA, I would guess that that's the state mandatory, family medical leave.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Oh, sorry. I questioned PFMLA, and that is the state-required Family Medical Leave Act that just went in, so that's what we're paying for.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Article 15, to see what sum of money the citizens of Greene will vote to raise and/or appropriate for the administrative expense account for the ensuing year. Selectmen recommend $369,815 in a 5-0-0 vote. Budget Committee recommends $369,815 in a 7-0-0 vote. We have a motion. We have a motion. And we have a second. Discussion. Yes, sir.
Assessing, are we gonna be doing, I question assessing. Last year was, we only used up, 1,683, we're budgeting 108,000. We planning on doing a big one?
Yes.
Okay.
We're reevaluating
Okay, thank you.
over 3 years? 3.
Yes.
Yeah, just for clarification, there's some empty boxes on there, Carol. Is that because they wouldn't print 0?
Correct.
Thank you.
And no further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Article 16, to see what sum of money the citizens of Greene will vote to raise and/or appropriate for the planning board expense account for the ensuing year. Selectmen recommend $950 with a 5-0-0 vote, and Budget Committee recommends $950 with a 7-0-0 vote. We have a motion, and we have a motion and a second. Discussion. Yes?
I was on the planning board for 15 years. I drove my own car, used my own gas, I went to classes, did a lot of things to educate myself to be a knowledgeable person on the planning board. We got nothing for that. I now hear that the fire department pays their guys to show up for their meetings right here in the town of Greene. I used to drive to Augusta, used to drive to Portland, and there was no money for the planning board members to do this. So this $950, I'm questioning, is that really something to be able to encourage people to go on the planning board? about, the land use ordinances inside and out. You have to, rely on other people to be able to, learn about some of the, other stuff that we known about. So I just need to put that on the floor. I am not on the planning board anymore, and that was one of my decisions why I retired from it.
Thank you. Yes. Yes, Brent.
Planning board members are not paid, we have a paid secretary.
Hey, Brian.
Can you stand up and face the...
Planning board members don't receive compensation, we have a paid secretary. That's it.
Right, and that's
Yep.
my point, exactly. I'm not talking about being paid, I'm talking about compensation for being able to get education.
Sure, all of your training, all of the planning board trainings and everything is paid by the town. And you also should, you can get mileage when you take your own vehicle, so,
That's changed.
yeah,
I don't think they know that.
so.
Also, we just had, that subdivision, we had, was it not mainland, but who coming?
Yeah.
We just paid that. That was $800 and something. You think this $950 is enough?
That, like
Where'd that money come from?
North Star Services is paid from an escrow account from the developer, from the applicant, not from this fund. The townspeople don't pay for the applicant's, site review.
Well, we wrote him a check.
He wrote us a check,
We already got his money too?
yes.
Okay.
They, they put up an escrow account when they start their site review.
Yes.
We use that money through the site review, and if there's money left over, we refund that back to them.
I know we haven't used that company in a while, and we've got a lot of new subdivisions going on. We probably should have them there all the time.
Yes, we will.
Yeah.
With
Thank you.
more complex site reviews, yes.
Correct.
All set?
Yeah.
Phil?
Moving forward, I'd like to see this be food for thought for next year's town meeting. If we're gonna be on a planning board, or you're gonna be on any board that you're mandated or required to get education, we should look into paying them a certain amount of money, to do that. I just think we as a board and as a community need to consider that. We're not all in the, this is no longer the 100% volunteer community. We need to move ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Phil. Okay, the motion on the floor is for Article 16, to see what sum of money the citizens of Greene will vote to raise and/or appropriate for the planning board expense account for the ensuing year. Both boards, the Board of Selectmen and the Budget Committee, recommend $950. No further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Article 17, to see what sum of money the citizens of Greene will vote to raise and/or appropriate for the Appeals Board account for the ensuing year. Selectmen recommend $100 and a 500 vote, and Budget Committee recommends $100 and a 700 vote. Do we have a motion? We have a motion. Do we have a second? And a second? Okay. Discussions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Article 18, to see what sum of money the citizens of Greene will vote to raise and/or appropriate for fire department compensation for the ensuing year. Selectmen recommend $140,000 in a 3-0-2 vote, and the Budget Committee recommends $140,000 in a 6-0-0 vote. Do we have a motion? We have a motion, we have and a second. Discussion? Yes?
Yeah, what happened to the 2004 engine one? No expenses on that? no money taken out, would you get rid of it?
2401 is out of service and is actually sold.
Oh, different article, sorry.
I didn't pick up on it either.
Yes,
How many fires, not longer, but how many firemen are on our committee now, and how did it go from 100,000 to 140,000? Is it because you have more personnel?
is there somebody that can answer that question?
Yeah, I can answer that. We range anywhere from 24 to 30 people every time. And the budget has not changed in a couple of years. We have to budget somewhat high because they're not there for 40 hours a week, so I can't, it's hard to, we could have fires, we could double our fires in 1 year, we not have enough. That's where that number comes. So we've been pretty safe with that number. And whatever doesn't get expended stays, goes back to the taxpayer, it's not used for something else.
Any further discussion? Yes, Steve?
Yeah, something just noted, that we didn't used to have what last year's budget was, so we could see it without having to go into the fine print and book.
It's in the book.
I realize it's in the book, but I think it was under each article, wasn't it?
One time it was.
Yeah, so we knew what last year's was.
At one time it was.
And I think we ought to do that again, just for the fact that that fine print in here, especially if somebody just picks up their book today, you know, they can't question something that they don't know. And, you know, to try to read this, I guess I didn't bring my microscope. Excuse me?
Yeah, I'm a little disgusted with this year's book, of the way it was put together. But, if you read the columns, the only ending balances you have in this book are from 2 years ago. 2023 balances is all you had. What you voted in last year means nothing. You have no balances. You have a balance as of January. So you're only going to get ending balances for any of this stuff 2 years later. Since they changed this, we used to have ending balances every year. Our budget ended in December. Our town meeting was in March. They changed that. They keep moving it ahead, so you have less and less knowledge of how much money is being spent. I think it's intentional myself, and I think the town should form a committee and go back to what we had before. It would be 1 year, it would be screwed up, but they broke something that was working well. And we should make that sacrifice and fix it so that we have ending balances every year, like we did for 100 years in this town, and then all of the confusion would go away. Because I really don't believe a lot of people understand this book at all.
Yes.
I'd like to add to Sheldon's comment there, that, so that people know that the change that was made was not made by anybody here.
No,
It was a prior administration, and I agree with Sheldon. I'd like to see it go back, and I think the Budget Committee would like to see it go back to the old way, ending in December and having a meeting 3 months later.
And everybody would understand it, and maybe we would get more than 2% of the population to come to town meeting again.
All right. Any further discussion? Seeing none? Seeing none, the motion on the floor is to see what sum of money the citizens agree. No.
Sheldon, did you want to go back to the calendar year, change it so that we're, instead of a fiscal year ending June 30th, you wanted to change it to go back
It
from
worked,
January
it
to
worked so
December?
well for so long, and then there was really no justification for changing it. It was working.
I agree.
It made everything easy, everybody understood it, and since the change, we've had so many people on, some members of the board in the past have said, well, we went through hell changing this. Well, I'd be willing to go through hell one more time something that wasn't broken. Go back to something that isn't broken.
Yes, go ahead.
One of the biggest reasons it got changed is because there was so many complaints that we didn't have end of year for the school. So it got changed so that we could be after the school budget was all voted on and ratified, so we would know exactly how much the budget was. Then we moved the closing to June, so that, because that's when they do the school budget, so that way we have our end of closings and the school's end of closings to vote on in the meeting in August. But at last meeting, this meeting got pulled back here to April. So now, we don't have any closings till June because that date never got changed. So that was voted on by the people in this room to move it back to April. So that's why we don't have any end of year closings, because the meeting got moved back, but we didn't change the end of year closings.
Okay, yes.
I would like to vote on the fire department.
Okay, well, we will move the question.
And I would like to say that when there was a large fire on Route 202, close to my home, that the Greene Fire Department and all the local fire departments, I think there were 7 fire departments there, they saved my garage and house from burning down. And I will vote to support their vote.
Okay, I've read the article already. Article 18, the motion on the floor is for $140,000 and for the selectmen and the budget committee. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Article 19, to see what sum of money the citizens of Greene will vote to raise and/or appropriate for fire protection expense account for the ensuing year. Selectmen recommend $151,412 in a 5-0-0 vote, and the budget committee recommends $151,412 in a 6-0-0 vote. Yes. You have, that's a motion? Okay, thank you. All right, do we have a second? We have a second. Discussion. Yes, Glenn.
Sold, so we don't need to have anything on that line.
Okay, fantastic.
All right, yes, Glenn.
John, what's an R-15?
Rescue.
Rescue vehicle? Okay.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Yes, Glenn.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this. Turnout gear, John. So the $16,000, is that just in case you need to replace it, or is that for already scheduled?
Ongoing thing.
So you replace X amount each year?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
And backup gear, because if there's a structure fire, all that gear is contaminated, you need a fresh set for the next call. So it's an ongoing thing. There's an expiration date on that gear as well.
Okay, because I was wondering if maybe instead of putting this in the budget every year, maybe we set up a separate account and just put the money in there, so that way we only have to replace what you use, rather than put $16,000 in there, and whatever's left over, we transfer it into undesignated surplus, and then deposit $16,000 more in there and do.
You use it all every year.
Yep, okay.
It's a number that just.
Yes, Phil.
Just to add to this, we may in the future go with a separate line, but we're waiting for this new PFAS-free gear to come out. Who knows what the price is gonna be? We could go from $16,000 to $30,000. We don't know. So that's why it's staying in status quo right now.
Thank you. Yes, Glenn.
Phil, any idea when that new equipment is scheduled to come out?
We have no idea. It's being made and the big cities are getting it, but we don't know.
Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion? Yes, sir.
I'd just like to comment on the difference in the Greene budget fire department compared to friends up a little further north in Leeds. The Greene fire budget is as big as it is, whatever it is, 290, whatever.
400,000.
Leeds, the whole Leeds budget is $67,000 for a town that's of fewer people, but almost the same size in area, and they do a great job for $67,000, and that includes $7,500 for the chief, who works a steady 20 hours a week for the fire department.
Thank you. Yes, Steve?
Glad you're living Spatus, because Spatus is gonna be just shy of $1 million this year.
All right, now that we've had the discussion, we'll move the motion. To see what sum of money the citizens of Greene will vote to raise and or appropriate for fire protection expense account for the ensuing year. And the selectmen and the budget committee both recommend $151,412. At this time, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Article 20. To see what sum of money the town will vote to raise and or appropriate for the fire department truck capital reserve fund. Selectmen recommend in a 5-0-0 vote $100,000, and the budget committee recommends in a 7-0-0 vote $100,000. We have a motion. We have a motion, we have a second, and we have a second. Discussion. Yes.
We vote on putting money aside every year, which I appreciate that, in order to be able to do that. But when I look at the spreadsheet up front, they've omitted numbers 20, 21, and 22, which is capital reserves. What's our budget, what's our balance of these reserves that we have, that we vote on every year? They're not accessible to the public.
Carol's working on that right now.
It's on page 32. On page 32 is the capital reserves amount as of January 30th.
Why did you move it to a different section of the book instead of along with all the other?
That's a question for a later date at this point. Any further discussion? Yes, Sheldon?
I would like to make a recommendation to the new board that to look over the capital reserve account, because we have way too many, and many of them have small amounts of money in them that are left over for purchases, and a lot of them should be eliminated, and that need for extra money could be used out of our undesignated fund balance instead of carrying all these balances in our capital reserve account.
So noted.
Doing the same thing.
All right. Article 20, to see what sum of money the town will vote to raise and or appropriate for the fire department truck capital reserve fund. Selectmen and budget committee recommend $100,000. I'm sorry. In favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Article 21, to see if the town will authorize the selectmen on behalf of the town to sell or dispose of by sealed bid, trade or online auction, or on such terms and conditions as they deem advisable, any Greene Fire Department miscellaneous equipment, all proceeds shall be deposited into the Greene Fire Department Benevolent Fund. We have a motion. We have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Article 22, to see if the citizens of Greene will authorize the selectmen on behalf of the town to dispose of any Greene Fire Department vehicles on such terms and conditions as they deem advisable. All proceeds from sale shall be deposited into the Fire Department Truck Capital Reserve Fund. We have a motion. We have a motion in a second. Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Article 23, to see what sum of money the citizens of Greene will vote to raise and/or appropriate for the emergency management expense account for the ensuing year. Selectmen recommend $2,000 in a 5-0-0 vote. Budget Committee recommends $2,000 in a 6-0-0 vote. We have a motion. We have a motion. Second? We have seconds. Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Article 24, to see what sum of money the citizens of Greene will vote to raise and/or appropriate for street lights for the ensuing year. Selectmen recommend $7,900. Budget Committee recommends $7,900. We have a motion. We have a motion and a second. Discussion.
Yes, I'd like to know why the price keeps going up on these. And we've got 9 streetlights on Main Street in Greene. We don't even have a sidewalk. Do you think we really need that many?
Those are also the beacons, the lights, flashlights.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's in this total or
Yeah.
separate.
And we have, I don't know how
I mean,
many.
there's a lot of places around town, intersections, to me, are the most important places for those streetlights.
Yeah.
Not 9 of them between here and the town office. I think the committee ought to, the selectmen ought to check in a little more and see if we're wasting our money or, and the price has gone up drastically since we switched to LED lights.
That's because electricity keeps going through the roof.
But it was supposed to cut it to about 50% originally from CMP. I know Don isn't here to pick up for him. Don was one of the personnel that worked down here in the CMP office when they figured it out originally.
Any further discussion? Yes, Steve.
Are we responsible for the ones on 202 or those the state?
She might say.
Apparently, those
State?
we don't pay the table. I'm pretty sure that it's all state.
Does anybody ever counted them out?
Okay? To see, Article 24, to see what sum of money the citizens of Greene will vote to raise and/or appropriate for the street lights for the ensuing year. Selectmen recommend $7,900. Budget Committee recommends $7,900. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor? Opposed? Well noted. Motion passes. Article 25. To see what sum of money the citizens of Greene will vote to raise and/or appropriate for animal control expense account for the ensuing year. Selectmen recommend $13,562 in a 5-0-0 vote. Budget Committee recommends $13,562 in a 6-0-0 vote. Do we have a motion? We have a motion. And we have a second. Discussion.
Is this
Yes.
supposed to be a full-time job for this person that's taking over?
I'm sorry. recognize the seat right now.
Yeah, no, I was just wondering, because, you know, I see it going up all the time, but who is our dog officer now, and is that part of it?
Yes, if you could see on page 27, it shows, the breakdown. We have, Chris Rembis is our new animal control officer, and he will be coming to the selectmen's meeting Monday night. So, for any questions that anybody has. And then that's also, we have to pay the SPCA for, when they take in any, animals or pets or loss or anything like that.
Is that based on population?
It's based on population. It's a monthly bill.
Yes.
Is this the gentleman's only job? He must have other towns too to be
He
able to.
does have other towns.
I was gonna say, he can't live on 13,000 here.
Oh, he gets 7,000.
He only gets 7?
7,000 for the year.
I think we're getting hell of a lot. Is that true?
Okay, let's see. Article 25, to see what sum of money the citizens of Greene will vote to raise and/or appropriate for animal control expense account for the ensuing year. And again, the selectmen and budget committee recommend $13,562. We have a motion on the floor. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Article 26, to see what sum of money the citizens of Greene will vote to raise and/or appropriate for public works compensation for the ensuing year. Selectmen recommend $376,621 in a 500 vote, and the budget committee recommends $404,960 in a 700 vote. We have a motion. We have a motion. We have a second. Is your motion for budget committee or selectmen?
Sure, why not?
Oh, the budget committee.
Sure.
Budget committee.
For the budget committee.
Do we get an explanation here? Why is the difference?
A lot of what we were talking about with the town manager, bringing them more into market, this is for that. And if you, what I read from the select board's letter where they said that they can't get positions filled and people are hard to get them to stay, this was to adjust that. And I think in the next year we'll look at some data. This was not based upon data. We didn't have data in front of us. This was based upon they're not retaining people. There's an issue there. Let's give them more money so that Carol can pay a little bit more. And then next year we'll come back with data that supports that.
This is just money in a pot.
I don't like the way you said it. Yes. Yes, so that.
Well, in a bucket then.
In a bucket, not a bucket, so that we can hire and retain well-qualified people. And, yeah, there's an issue there. The select board even pointed it out. We're just trying to help them.
Sheldon.
What people don't understand is working for the public works in the town of Greene is not a career. It's your first job and your last job at the end of your working career. This is not a place where you're going to stay here forever, because when we hire these young fellows, they come in, they drive a truck, they learn to run an excavator, and then Gendron or somebody else is going to hire every single one of them. They are not going to stay here. I don't care how much money you give them. It's not about the money. Everybody's looking for construction workers, and I don't know that the budget committee has hired construction workers that much or overseen the problems that the town of Greene has had, because the budget committee meets one time. They are not participants in our selectmen's meeting. They didn't see all amount. It wasn't like we ran out of money. There was tens of thousands of dollars left over in these accounts that we could have paid whatever was necessary. But you're taking the responsibility away from the people that you hired to do a job, which is the selectmen. If you don't like the way they do it, you should run for selectmen yourself instead of trying to take away their responsibility and their job.
Thank you, Sheldon. Yes?
It's really frustrating to hear that, like, the budget committee comes up with a number just without factual data. They just throw out a number there, because then if we vote and approve it, we're going to not only pay that, we're gonna increase it every year, rather than waiting and collecting the data. I don't understand how, if we were approved 400,000, but we expended 300,000, now we're gonna up it even more. Why not just stick to the number we were working? If we have surplus, pay them money surplus.
Thank you. Yes, Steve?
Just to reinforce what Sheldon was saying, I was on the budget committee for over 30 years, and, you know, the selectmen do their job. They're in that office pretty much. I mean, they're in there, again, making sure things are nice. They're not, the budget committee, we use, towards the end, we're meeting once a year. So why as a budget committee, do they come up with a higher figure when the selectmen, who have been elected by the people here, know what's going on in that town hall, and they're the ones that we've asked to be the watchdogs for us. So I don't think, if we're ready to take all that away from the selectmen, then why do we have selectmen? So,
Thank you, Steve. Yes, ma'am.
Sheldon indicated there was a surplus in the budget. What was the surplus in the account for this last year?
There actually was a she asked about what was the surplus. The surplus was because we only had 3 to 4.
Yeah, I'm wondering, so we budgeted for 6?
Yes.
Is that, and what was the longest vacancy?
We still have vacancy.
So the full 12 months?
Yes.
And what was the total amount of the surplus?
So as of, it was about 200,000.
And so how
That
many?
was only half a year.
Gotcha, so that's half a year. So, and how many open positions do we currently have?
1.
So $200,000 from the previous budget for 1 open position. But, okay. And so, okay.
Thank you. Yes?
I just have a question, so if we vote to not approve, the motion's always been for the budget amount, not the selectmen's amount. So clarifying that, if you don't approve on the budget committee's amount, it reverts to the selectmen's amount, correct?
No, it has to be voted on. Sheldon?
There would be a new motion made if
That's
it was
correct.
voted down, and then
That's
someone
correct.
could make a motion to the selectmen's amount. But see, all of these problems would be solved if we had ending balances. But to find an ending balance, you have to go back 2 years right now in this book. We have ending balances for 2023. We don't have any for what you approved last year. We have nothing. That's the problem. Nobody understands this book.
Yes, sir.
To Sheldon's
Yes, we have old data.
To Sheldon's point, when we moved the town meeting from August to April, we screwed everything up. Because in August, we would have known what the ending balance was for the previous year. So now we're in the middle of nowhere. I agree with you. You can't tell what these numbers are. They're 18 months old.
We don't have numbers to go by.
So we don't know anything about the school budget. We don't know anything about what we spent this year. So we're looking at numbers that are 18 months old, something like that. So the damn meeting is the problem, not the fiscal year. It's just that if we had kept it in August, we would have been at the end of the fiscal year.
Or even September, if we had it in
Well,
September,
no,
we could
no,
leave it the same.
Yes, sir.
Although I don't remember that conversation that night very well, but if I knew we had a $200,000 surplus, I would not have voted for an increase. There would be no reason to.
So what happened with surplus?
Yes.
I'm wondering, without getting into personnel issues, what are some of the overarching reasons that it's hard to keep the employees?
She's asking why, the overarching issues as to why it's difficult to keep employees.
One thing, we lost our supervisor, Zach, for it just recently. He was here for 6 months and whatnot. And one of the main reasons why he left was for insurance. We hear insurance for him only, not his family. If you want to have young people that are working here, you're going to have to pay for insurance for them as well, for the family. That's one reason why he left. The other reason why he left, he was a salaried position. He worked overtime, didn't get any compensation, time off, or extra money, and he gave him the power at night. That's the other reason why he left.
Yes, ma'am.
What happens to the surplus?
It goes into the undesignated fund balance, and then we use it to help reduce taxes.
Okay.
Like in the, there's another way in the back.
So it's not sitting there?
No. Actually, we're
Yes, Carl.
So to follow what Mark just said, because this money, that whichever amount we allocate, that gives the town manager the discretion to not only increase salary, but also to increase benefits, which not only will attract, but also maintain. And if we're losing the leadership, it's kind of hard to have all the other ingredients, as it were, falling without a leader. Is that correct?
And without our knowledge as selectmen, took the road foreman and put him into that position, not a salary role, but an hourly role. Took a 21-year-old and now he's in a supervisor position, which, in my opinion, he's not qualified to run $1 million budget and $1 million.
So that's a personnel issue.
Okay.
The town manager has.
That's a personnel issue.
The town manager has, I hired and fired.
In our personal it's public information, personal policy, public information.
Okay.
You were actually supposed to let us know we changed positions.
Point of order.
Okay.
I would like either party to talk personnel matters at the table up there. The town manager, leaves the personnel matters and the selectmen. I think that should stop, and as the moderator, I would appreciate if you would not allow that anymore.
Thank you. And I won't.
Thank you.
Okay. Article 26, to see what sum of money the citizens of Greene will vote to raise and or appropriate for public works compensation for the ensuing year. Selectmen, in a 5-0-0 vote, recommend $376,621. Budget Committee recommends $404,960. That's the motion on the floor.
The motion was for the budget
Okay, I'm sorry, I stand corrected again. We're working on the budget committee one, for $404,960. All those in favor? Opposed? Please hold them up. All those in favor again? Okay. Opposed? The opposition has it.
I'll make a new motion.
Yes.
A motion that we go with the selectmen's recommendation, 376, 621. I second.
We have a motion and a second for the selectmen's recommendation of $376,621. All those in favor? Opposed? Okay, motion passes. Article 27, to see what sum of money the citizens of Greene will vote to raise and or appropriate for public works road maintenance expense account for the ensuing year. Selectmen recommend $519,350 in a 5-0-0 vote. Budget committee recommends $519,350 in a 7-0-0 vote. We have a motion. We have a motion and a second. We have a second. Discussion. Yes.
Yes, I was wondering about the culverts, we're going from like 12,000, 16,000 to 33,000. We're gonna replace a bunch of culverts this year.
Somebody answer the question. Yes, sir.
So as we just alluded to, the supervisor we did have, he was actually gonna be a breath of fresh air. He had a pretty good plan, and he made a nice presentation to us, so yeah, I think we probably would have put in a lot of culverts. I'm not so sure now where we're headed with that, so it's unfortunate.
Yes, sir.
On the gravel, last year we spent $8,256, and we're asking for $50,000 this year.
A lot of the money that was spent last year was feeding money, gravel. So,
Yeah, again, we spent $98,000.
That was from the previous year.
Yeah.
The FEMA money was from the previous year. All right. Seeing no further discussion. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, public works equipment, where we used 11,000, now we're authorizing 47,000.
Yeah, I believe that, Glenn, I believe that is, two edgers to do the edging on the, after they pave roads, they have to, do the edging. There's also a mulching head that they wanted to get to try and push back the vegetation going into the roadway. I think there was a dump body to replace the decaying one on the one time. And bear with me. I know there's some increased costs in building maintenance. Okay, yeah, that's right there. The mulching, yeah, I think that two shoulder edgers, body for the one ton and mulching.
That answers your question, okay, Ron?
Yep.
Yes, ma'am.
The salt shed went from $150 to $15,150. Question about that. And tools went from $9,000 to $20,000.
We couldn't hear you.
Salt shed went from $150 to $15,000.
The salt shed went from 115 to 150,000.
It needs some repairs to the floor. The salt deteriorated the concrete years ago, and they put in asphalt. Now we need to tear that out and put new asphalt back there.
Okay. And then what about the tools? It went from a budget of $9,865 and we used $2,500 so far.
Is that for tools?
$20,000 for tools.
Okay. Tools went from, I'm sorry.
Like
from where?
$9,800 to $20,000.
98.
If I remember correctly, they just don't have any really good tools up there.
this point, we'll move the question. Yes, Len.
One question on the 2006 International Greene, starting to spend like 50, we budgeted $15,000, began at that it's a 2006, and we ought to start looking at getting rid of it before it really gets costly. Just a suggestion.
Okay, to see what sum of money, Article 27, to see what sum of money Greene will vote to raise and or appropriate for public works road maintenance account for the ensuing year. Selectmen and Budget Committee recommend $519,350. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Article 28, to see what sum of money the citizens of Greene will vote to raise and or appropriate for public works, summer roads for the ensuing year. Selectmen recommend and Budget Committee recommends $83,300 in a 500 vote for Selectmen and 700 vote for Budget Committee. We have a motion. We have a motion and a second. Discussion. Yes.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Steve.
Does that price include the recoding of College Street? Or is that still?
No, that's in our paving budget.
Oh, okay, that's right, sorry.
Yes,
I
sir.
actually had a question about the College Road when we brought that up. So that is going to be another layer going on that? Thank God. Perfect. Not much.
Okay. Yes, Glenn.
Yes, tree removal. We budgeted 20,000, spent 2,000, 5,000, and spent 1,350. Now we're budgeting 25,000. We have a big project or a big contract we awarded. Which one is it?
You can't hear.
White out Golden Road for paving, and there's another one that's got some bad trees. I don't know exactly which trees, but they didn't put it right.
All right. I'm sorry?
We didn't hear it.
Go ahead, George.
The tree removal, he has some plans on doing Golden Road, which has to be widened out and taking some trees down there. That's why he didn't do that. And he had some specific trees that was really bad. And I don't remember which ones specifically, but I know that they had to be taken down by tree professionals who think this will cut them down themselves.
Yes, ma'am.
Did the public works plan from the previous leader stay, like, do we have his plan that we're voting on? The specifics?
We don't have one.
We don't have a plan. Okay, the reason I ask is we're voting to give money to a plan that doesn't exist. So I'm just curious, like, are these priorities the town's priorities and our best interests?
He did consult with the new, with Dylan, the new supervisor.
So there's a written out plan that proposes all of this, that accounts for the 25,000 tree removal and the widening covert, like, I'm just curious.
There's a specific written out plan.
So there was nothing, okay.
But they do have, they did have a plan on which roads they were gonna do as far as the tree removal and stuff like that, so.
Is the expectation that a plan get presented?
Yes.
We need to hire some help first. Someone with some experience would help.
Gotcha.
So if you know of anyone, send them
I'm
to
just,
the-
so I'm just curious, because I feel like sometimes we throw out arbitrary dollar amounts to some of these line items, and so I'm concerned that we're voting $25,000, and was that our best guess on what we need?
I don't know what they did.
Okay,
25,000 probably takes care of about 4 trees.
that's right. right? Okay, so moving forward, if, as we're hiring or as we're making decisions, perhaps that can be an expectation?
Thank you.
Okay. The motion on the floor at this point is to see what sum of money the citizens of Greene will vote to raise and or appropriate for public works, summer roads for the ensuing year. Selectmen and Budget Committee recommend $83,300. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Article 29, to see what sum of money the citizens of Greene will vote to raise and or appropriate for public worlds, winter roads, just reading what's printed here.
Right.
Public works, winter roads for the ensuing year. Selectmen recommend $117,000 in a 5-0-0 vote. And Budget Committee recommends $117,000 in a 6-0-0 vote. Do we have a motion? We have a motion, and we have a second. Discussion. Yes?
I'm always confused here. What's the difference between summer roads and winter roads?
I was just told sand and salt.
Thank you. You mine too.
Yes, ma'am.
I just had a question in the book on page 28. It says that the budget for salt was $820,000 last year.
That was a misprint.
That was a misprint.
Yeah. Was it 82,000? Yes. Okay.
We spent a lot of money on salt.
I was gonna say, that's really expensive salt.
When everyone calls and complains about the roads, that's when they go out and put the salt down.
Okay, so it was a misprint in the book, but not on the books, is that? Right.
Correct.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Seeing none. Article 29, to see what sum of money the citizens of Greene will vote to raise and or appropriate for public works, winter roads for the ensuing year. The Selectmen and the Budget Committee recommend $117,000. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Article 30, to see what sum of money the citizens of Greene will vote to raise and or appropriate for paving expense account for the ensuing year. Selectmen recommend $0 in a 5-0-0 vote, and Budget Committee recommends $0 in a 7-0-0 vote. Note, balance in capital reserve paving is $586,658.55. Do we have a motion? We have a motion and a second. And discussion. Yes, Glenn?
Why do we have $586,000 left over from last year, or?
Some of it was, and some of it's leftover FEMA money, which supposedly we can use for paving, but I've got a call into FEMA right now. He hasn't returned my call yet. But I don't believe we can use that money for paving only on the projects FEMA fixed. In other words, the whole college road cannot be paved with FEMA money. It's gotta come out of our paving account.
So how much is the FEMA money?
How much is left?
How much is the FEMA money? Because if we
300
can't
something thousand.
Okay, so if we can't use the FEMA money,
We
then,
can use the FEMA money.
then we're
I
down to
object.
200-something thousand.
We can use the FEMA money for paving on parts of roads that were destroyed by the storm of, was it 24?
I don't think that balance doesn't reflect the FEMA money, because you have 465 in paving reserve. Carol, what,
Right, we have,
the numbers that was in the article?
right,
does reflect that FEMA money. That would be a lot more, that'd be, 800,000.
Right, actually, when this was printed, the warrant was printed, it was 586, and I think, and then on page 32, the paving reserves, 465, that's more recent, because we paid some out of that.
That is reflected.
Yeah, and then, no, then we also have 340,000 for the FEMA money.
Yes, Sheldon?
The other problem that you have, Glenn, is the fact that you don't approve your budget until the 1st of July. Your new money doesn't come available till July 1st because of our change to our fiscal year. So by the time you get your bids out in July, August, you can't find anybody to do the paving that year. Now, if we could start in the spring with our money like we used to years ago, we wouldn't have this problem, but it's because of the change in the fiscal year, you can't find nobody in September and October. They're already booked for the year. So we're a year behind on our paving every time.
Yes, ma'am.
Have we completed a needs assessment for the roads, or is this reserve
balance just based on what our previous road need was?
The supervisor does have a needs, and he knows which ones that need it, and approximately what it will cost, so.
So there's no additional need from what we previously allocated?
Correct.
When was the last needs assessment done?
He does that all the time, every year.
So it's annual or it's just
Annual.
constant?
It's actually constant. He always checks, and they're actually in the process too of checking all of the culverts, see what those needs are, and.
So we're confident that the 586 in capital reserves will cover whatever our needs are moving into this coming summer, fall, and winter for next year?
If we can use the FEMA money.
If we can use the FEMA money to offset some projects outside of what the original FEMA scope was?
Correct. Or we can go out and pave roads.
when we got the FEMA money, was it designated for specific needs?
Yes.
Steve? So, I'm hearing we really don't have a contingency plan if we can't use the FEMA money, so we're not gonna pave any roads this year? That's what I'm hearing? So,
I was told we could use that FEMA money. I found out that we might not be able to use that. And I brought this up a while back, but no one seems to want to change it and add anymore to it. They said we can use that money. I don't think we can. And if we use it and they come and audit us, we will have to pay that $1.2 million back.
Could I have a point of
Yes, ma'am.
clarification on the page 32, the paving reserve of 465,000 as of 1/30/26. Assuming we haven't done any paving since then, so we have that money, correct?
Part of that was finish paying for College Road, which was finished. Why that money is in there. That's already a couple $100,000, I'm sure.
So that has to be used for College Road, but we have 465 in the paving reserve and 340 in the FEMA reserve. Right, those are two separate buckets?
Correct.
Okay, so we have 800,000,
Correct.
and you said 200,000 has to be used on College Roads,
I
that
don't
leaves
really,
265?
don't know the number, I'm not really sure, because I don't know what's paid. Finish paying, they only need half.
Okay, I'm just trying to figure out how much money. So if we can't use the FEMA money, let's, like, worst case scenario, the FEMA money can't be used for any paving. We have 465,000, and some of that has to be used on College Road, we don't know how much.
Don't remember. Sheldon, you remember what it was? The long road was getting into that as well. I believe it was over 300,000. Yes.
guess my question is, the recommendation of both the budget committee and the board unanimously was that this should be 0. And now, I think I'm hearing you say something different.
Well, I found out some information says that this was printed, that gave you as a FEMA.
Sheldon. This money that you're voting on today can't be used till July 1st anyway, at all. So we have to stay on last year's budget until July 1st. So you probably can't get a lot of work done when you start your paving in July, because by the time you get somebody to bid on it, they've already booked through October, November. By being a year behind, we're fine with this money because you're not going to be able to use this money this year anyway.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that a true statement of the reserves as well as budgeted money? We have reserves. They're reserves for a reason, right? We can spend them whenever we want. So I understand what you're saying, Sheldon, about the budget money, but we have reserves we can spend.
The reserve is there because we didn't spend it last year, and if we didn't put it in a reserve, it would have to go to undesignated funds. So by putting it in a reserve account when we don't spend it is the only way we can keep it to use it the following year.
Right, but we could use it in the spring of the following
We
year.
could,
is my point.
that's right, we can.
But we would have lost it if we didn't put it in a reserve.
Totally
Bids
understand.
are paid, you shouldn't be going out short,
Yeah.
like next week. And then this year.
All right, so are we ready to move the question then, or?
Yes.
I had a question there. I think the question is, do we have that money someplace to take care of the paving for this year? If the answer is we have it in reserve, then that's the answer. Do we or don't we?
Yes,
Guess what?
we have it in reserve.
Thank you, Sheldon.
So is this what we're bidding on? This is just for putting down the black hole? This has nothing to do with ditching, culverts, or anything else? This is just laying black hole?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, just paving.
Yes, sir.
Just one quick question.
If you could speak up, please.
Just one quick question to Mr. Randall. Who did you try to contact this evening?
Greg?
That allowed?
Yes.
I will follow up on that. Greg is no longer a representative. It's Pablo, but I'll follow up on that.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move the question now. To see what sum of money the citizens of Greene will vote to raise and or appropriate for a paving expense account for the ensuing year. And the balance in the capital reserves paving is $586,658.55. Selectmen and Budget Committee recommend $0. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Article 31, to see if the town will vote to authorize the selectmen on behalf of the town to sell by sealed bid, trade, or online auction of any town-owned property of the Public Works Department. All proceeds shall be deposited into the capital reserve Public Works equipment account. We have a motion. We have a motion and a second. We have a second. All right, discussion. Seeing none. All those in favor of the article, to see if the town will vote to authorize to the selectmen on behalf of the town to sell sealed bid, by sealed bid, trade or online auction of any town-owned property of the Public Works Department. All proceeds shall be deposited into the capital reserve Public Works equipment account. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Article 32, to see what sum of money the citizens of Greene will vote to raise and or appropriate for the purchase of a 3/4 ton truck with plow for the Public Works Department. Selectmen recommend $65,000. Budget Committee recommends $65,000. The selectmen were in a 5-0-0 vote, and the Budget Committee was a 7-0-0 vote. We have a motion and a second. Discussion. Yes? Yes, Steve?
I was just wondering, I know it's a 3/4 ton, but, and I know we bought the same truck a couple times so far, right?
Half tons, those truck that we bought a couple of years ago was a half ton.
Oh, really?
Or 3 years.
Oh, wow. I just thought maybe a 1 ton would give us more longevity for the plow, because we do all our corners with, corner of the street with that, right?
We have the 1 ton for that. 3/4 ton is more for the summertime and plowing. The intersections of the winter time.
Oh, so we're gonna have 2 small trucks then?
No.
We have 2 small trucks now.
Oh, we do?
One's a half ton.
I didn't realize that.
Sheldon?
I mean, when we decided on this, Steve, I thought our plan was we would trade the half ton in towards the 3/4 ton, because a half ton pickup for public works is basically useless. We want a 3/4 ton that we can actually put a plow on. So my understanding was the plan was to trade that truck towards the 3/4 ton. Is that what the rest of you think?
That's correct. That's why the price is $65,000.
Yes. Give us the half ton that really doesn't have use.
The quote came back at 65,000 for the plow and the plow. One thing that wasn't considered was that truck was purchased with ARPA money, and if anybody has dealt with ARPA money before, there's no set time limit on when you have to keep that equipment in service. It's different from across the board. And the way it states for the truck that we purchased with ARPA money is its useful life, and I don't think we reached its useful life, so I don't think we can get rid of it.
My understanding with that ARPA money was that you can't sell it, but you can use it to upgrade, trade it towards an upgrade.
That's something we definitely have to confirm before we move on that.
Yes, ma'am.
If we had a surplus of 200,000 from monies that we didn't use for public works, why not use some of that to purchase this truck rather than asking for additional money?
We were using $1 million right now to reduce the taxes for the coming year. Where does that leave us? We're allowed to keep so much in a designated fund balance, and then it's a range, but sorry, it goes off on silent.
We did see the 200,000.
From the wages.
From the wages account.
Came by trade.
Yeah.
Okay. So at this point, we'll move the question. Article 32, to see what sum of money the citizens of Greene will vote to raise and or appropriate for the purchase of a 3/4 ton truck with a plow for the Public Works Department. Selectmen and Budget Committee recommended $65,000. Seeing no further discussion, those approved. Opposed? Okay. Motion passes. Article 33, to see what sum of money the citizens of Greene will vote to raise and appropriate for capital reserve public works equipment account for the ensuing year. Selectmen recommend $50,000 in a 5-0-0 account, vote, and Budget Committee recommends $50,000 in a 7-0 vote. We have a motion. We have a motion. We have a second. have a second? Okay, discussion? Yes, Steve?
I hate to bring this up right now, but it has nothing to do with this, because we have to leave, we have something else to do. But, I was hoping that, I talked to some people this morning that would have been here, but they didn't have any idea that this meeting was happening today. Put it on the front cover, exact date and time and location. I had to call yesterday to find out where the location was. I know usually it's in the school, but we have moved it to the fire station. But I think the numbers today are probably indicating that some people didn't know that it's happening this April, this date, and this time. So I just want to make I have to go, so I just want to make a recommendation that we could probably put it right on the front cover of this book to make sure.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
on the front thing of the warrant?
No, put it on the book.
No, but
People look up the book and walk away.
Yeah. Thank you.
all right. We have let's see, a motion and a second on the article. Any further discussion? Yes, ma'am?
I was just wondering why we are recommending an increase in the capital reserve for public works when it seems like we gave them quite a significant increase in their budget. Plus, we just had a separate article for a truck. It seems like there's a lot of money in there, and I'm not sure that we have a plan to spend it all.
This money would be put aside for a new dump truck down the road, with, we're talking probably 10 years. I don't know if you know what a new dump truck costs now, but they're well over $200,000.
So it's
They
like
do the same
a
thing
fire
with
truck?
The
is that
fire
what you're
truck,
saying?
correct, same thing.
So that's what this is, planning for a future large expense.
Correct.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Article 33, to see what sum of money the citizens of Greene will vote to raise and or appropriate for the capital reserve public works equipment account for the ensuing year. Both the selectmen and budget committee recommend $50,000. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Article 34, to see what sum of money the citizens of Greene will vote to raise and or appropriate for the transfer station operational expense account for the ensuing year. Selectmen recommend $317,482 and a 500 vote, and Budget Committee recommends $317,482 and a 700 vote. We have a motion. We have a motion and a second. Discussion? Yes?
Yeah, we're looking at, putting up $9,000 for new equipment. What equipment is that?
Compactors, I believe.
Okay, are we looking into possibly buying another dumpster? Because it seems like all throughout this winter, they've been a dumpster down at least, it seems like almost every other weekend.
They're renting for those periods.
Yeah.
It's far less than what a dumpster costs. I think they're like $20,000.
They were frozen, that was the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, the big ones, yes, they fill up with snow and it melts and it becomes ice and they take it out and dump it and half of it comes back. But I'm talking about like the cardboard and plastic ones. Okay, I don't know how many times this past winter the cardboard was filled up or gone. So we're having to throw cardboard in the compactor, or we're throwing it in with the paper, or one of the plastics is full, so we're throwing them both in there, or, So if we had an extra one, when they come and get it, we've got the tractor up there, we could move the spare dumpster in there to take care of stuff like that until we get the other one back.
There was lack of communication on calling them to come dump them for one. With new people keep coming in and out, no one knew they were supposed to call, I believe, that's what happened.
Well, I talked to the people at the transfer station, they said they called, and when they call, they get put on a list. So they said that the company is kind of shorthanded right now, or like everybody else is shorthanded. So if they had an extra dumpster up there, they could put that one in and use it until they come and get the whichever dumpster is full.
I believe they're using the newspaper one right now, so there is two.
Yes, for the cardboard, and they also,
Yep.
we also rented an extra one for 2 months, this past winter.
Christmas time is busy.
Yep,
Well, yeah, Christmas in the compactor, yeah, absolutely. But it's all winter long, it's, we seem to have been a dumpster down,
Yeah.
waiting for them to come and get it.
But there are two cardboard ones now,
Okay.
because there's not a whole lot of newspaper anymore, so that's in a different area.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Yes, Sheldon?
But a lot of people don't understand that our recyclables, nobody pays for them anymore. But we are fortunate enough to have a company that takes ours for free. They do not charge us, and they do not charge us to truck them. So we're not even paying trucking on them. So we're getting rid of them for free, we're not paying for trucking. You get a ton of cardboard, so it doesn't really matter which container you put it in, because there is no pay, even if it's mixed together. You know, they don't pay, we haven't been paid for recyclables for years. And, we do have a company that doesn't even charge trucking anymore. We used to have to pay to truck it, and even though we didn't get paid for it, so. Sometimes it's a problem, but they seem to be able to get by just putting it in the paper or wherever they can put it, because they have to sort it all where it goes anyway, and they don't charge for that.
Thank you. Okay, seeing no further discussion, Article 34, to see what sum of money the citizens of Greene will vote to raise and/or appropriate for the transfer station operational expense account for the ensuing year. The Selectmen and Budget Committee both recommend $317,482. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Article 35, to see what sum of money the citizens of Greene will vote to raise and/or appropriate for the Capital Reserve Transfer Station Fund for the ensuing year. Selectmen and Budget Committee both recommend $0. The Selectmen did it on a 5-0-0 vote, and the Budget Committee did it on a 7-0-0 vote. Note, this account currently has $90,052.82. Do we have a motion? We have a motion and a second. Discussion. Seeing none. All those in favor to see what sum of money the citizens of Greene will vote to raise and/or appropriate for the Capital Reserve Transfer Station Fund for the ensuing year? Opposed? Motion passes. Article 36, to see what sum of money the citizens of Greene will vote to raise and/or appropriate for the cemetery care expense account for the ensuing year. Selectmen recommend $8,250 in a 5-0-0 vote. Budget Committee recommends $8,250 in a 7-0-0 vote. Do we have a motion? We have a motion and a second. Discussion. Yes?
The flags, those are the ones that, the little ones that they put on at, I believe it's Memorial Day, the little flags they put on the veterans?
Yes.
That is, okay.
All set? Yes, Sheldon?
On this account, I'm not opposed to the number, but I have a problem with the bookkeeping matter. In fiscal year 2025, there was a $153 overdraft in the cemetery account. If you look on page 29, you would see that in fiscal year 2025, we had a $153 overdraft, which is not allowed legally. You cannot have an overdraft. And I asked this question back when budget ended for that year, and our bookkeeper basically verbally attacked me on asking these questions. And I never really got the right answer. My question is, how do you pay this overdraft? have one, and I did a little bit of research, and what happened was you added the flags and maintenance to that account, and then you withdrew money from the flag account to cover this small overdraft, according to these books. But the flag account is also on page 25 under our general government, so you use that number twice in our budget.
They're different flags.
The same exact $1,300 amount with the same location number. So,
Well, under the cemetery care, those are the cemetery flags. And the other ones are the flags that, are on the poles.
they
Yeah.
have the same location number in the budget.
John, what page is the second flags line item on? Not the one under the cemetery.
Page 25. It's the same number, used twice.
But it's under a different category. It's under the administrative expense account number.
Correct.
And then all of our flags are 20-21.
And they're all $1,300.
Well, they just happens to be the same amount for each one.
But either way, you don't have the right to use that money in the cemetery.
And that was a prior person in the office that did that. She.
But how do you do
appointed
it?
them.
How do you do it, Carol? You can't transfer funds.
I know that.
Correct an overdraft.
I know that.
But you did it in this budget, is what I'm telling you. How do you do that legally?
I don't know.
Question?
No, the only one that can do that is this group. And
Right,
I asked that question when the budget ended,
right.
and
That was 2025.
I was exactly right.
Yeah, so.
And I was told that there was no overdraft, and I was just trying to get you, what she told me. Well, there was an overdraft. You shouldn't have been allowed. You shouldn't have been able to pay it because you really had no money to pay it, so.
Didn't you say the personnel matters should be discussed here?
That's not a personnel matter.
I think
Mr.
it's a
Moderator, I
waiver.
move the question.
It was an error.
We will move the question at this time.
It's an accounting.
We will move the question at this time, okay? And the question that was brought to the floor is Article 36, to see what sum of money the citizens of Greene will vote to raise and or appropriate for the cemetery care expense account for the ensuing year. Selectmen and Budget Committee recommend $8,250. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Article 37, to see what sum of money the citizens of Greene will vote to raise and or appropriate for the general assistance expense account for the ensuing year. Selectmen, by a 5-0-0 vote, recommend $8,225, and Budget Committee recommends $8,225 by a 7-0-0 vote. We have a motion. We have motions and seconds. Discussions? Yes, ma'am.
Under administrative expenses, in 2025, we budgeted $4,425 and we spent $806. Last year, we budgeted $4,225 and we've only spent $911. This year, we're budgeting $4,225 again. We're not even spending $1,000, so we're budgeting $4,000.
We do have to have it though high enough so in case we do get, more general assistance, which there are more and more that are coming into town that, are needing that service.
Okay.
So,
All right, thank you.
we do get reimbursed 70% of that though.
Seeing no further discussion, All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Article 38, to see what sum of money the citizens of Greene will vote to raise and or appropriate for the Allen Pond Improvement Association. Selectmen recommend $2,500 by a 5-0-0 vote, and Budget Committee recommends $2,500 by a 7-0-0 vote.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion.
Is the $2,500 gonna be used for the boat launch, or is that something separate?
I can answer that. I'm Robin Healy, president of the Allen Pond Improvement Association. That is not being used for the boat launch. The boat launch is being handled by the state.
Sheldon.
Isn't the Allen Pond Association involved in a legal issue with the question of ownership of the land the dam is on? Are we
Yes,
paying,
Robert.
are we paying for legal fees?
Thank you. Right now, Allen Pond Improvement Association has owned the dam that's over 200 years old. We've owned it since 1961, and we've maintained it. We've had issues where we've had to have repairs. Most of those have been through volunteers. There has been a change in ownership of the land that abuts us, and the people that own that land have 2 years ago, it'll be 2 years in May, have brought suit against us saying that they own the land that we consider ours, and our deeds show that. This has been an extremely expensive case that is not over yet, and we are pulling from our funds, what little funds we have as a organization. $25 dues doesn't go far. We bring in maybe $3,000 a year at most through donations and memberships, and we try and keep that number close to what we feel we need when we have emergencies on the dam. We had a situation this last year, and thank you for the $2,500 last year, because we had a repair that needed to be done in October, and the waters were low enough that we could see the repairs that needed to be done, otherwise we wouldn't have known. We have some other repairs coming up soon that were assessed by our dam keeper and a couple of our committee members, and we talked to DEP about that, and everything we're doing is in compliance. We do anything that we do for repairs, we go through DEP. But yes, our money is dwindling for our repairs, and that's where we're at. Yes.
Can you tell me more about the new landowner? Is it a private resident or is it a company? And
These
what
are
is their,
these are the adult children of the people who, their father helped develop Allen Pond Improvement Association. He was one of the founding members, and he was our dam keeper since 1961. And he passed away. His son, Tim, now has been our dam keeper for years. He helped his dad for years, taking care of the dam. The property and house went into probate, whatever. The two girls bought it, and now they're saying that their deed supersedes ours, which it doesn't, but we've got to go through the motion, and we've been going through it for 2 years.
but what do they benefit?
Nothing. We don't know why. We just know that we've people a lot of money so far. Yes.
I just have a problem giving money in a legal battle that's with another citizen. So we give tax dollars to one side.
I would like money, and we're paying for our legal battle out of our money. What we are most afraid of is our dam breaching, and we have no money. So we need to build that back up. Our value, the amount of houses on Allen Pond, the amount of property owners on Allen Pond is 94 properties, which is similar, and we all own in Greene. The amount of houses in Greene on Sabatis is just a few houses more than ours. We've never asked for money before. Well, we did ask, and we weren't allowed. And finally, starting last year, we were able to start building what we might need in an emergency, because the value of the houses will immediately go down if we lose our dam. And that affects everybody. So that's where we are right now.
Any further questions, Sheldon?
Just my opinion, I don't believe we should use our taxpayers' money to do the start. I just don't agree with that.
Sheldon, you
did vote for this as a selectman.
Go ahead, Mark.
I voted to bring it to this committee. I didn't know about the lawsuit at the time.
Probably wasn't there at the time.
And Robbie, you correct me if I'm wrong, we have not used any of the town's money for this
No, we
lawsuit.
have not. Not a
Is that
dime.
good enough answer for you, Sheldon?
How do you differentiate the money?
We had,
We had some money already.
$26,000 in the account, and now we don't. And we still have the $2,500 from last year.
The money from the town that we're getting, would, like Robin said, if something happens to Dan, that's what we're gonna use that money for. And since I've been there, most of the work that's been done on that dam has been volunteer work. Actually, 99% of it.
Even the equipment.
Correct.
Well, I wanted to make a comment, because you know.
Could you stand up, please, and speak very
Really
loud?
happy to stand up after this. You know, the town of Greene surrounds this beautiful little pond, and most of the properties on that pond are getting higher tax bills than anybody else in the town. So, you know, to me, the town should help us protect that beautiful little spot in Greene, Maine, to protect our tax balances. You know, I mean, this is crazy, $2,500 for, you know, a high tax bracket area. I mean, to me, it's pretty easy. So, you know, I would appreciate it if you think about it really seriously, because that natural resource in the town of Greene is our responsibility, really, of all town people. So.
We'll, at this point, we'll move the question.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, to see what sum of money the citizens of Greene will vote to raise and or appropriate for the Allen Pond Improvement Association. Selectmen and Budget Committee recommend $2,500. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. All right. Article 39, to see what sum of money the citizens of Greene will vote to raise and or appropriate for charitable expense account for the ensuing year. The charities are, let's see, in fiscal year 26 and fiscal year 27, Greene Baptist Church Food Pantry, $0 in 26, $2,500 in 27. Community Concepts, $450 to $300 for 26 and 27. RCAM, which is the Rural Community Action Ministry, $6,000 each year. Sexual Assault Center, $250 each year. Seniors Plus, $1,500 each year. American Red Cross, $250 each year. Safe Voices, $500 each year. And Anwell Health Partners, $2,000 each year, for a total of, I'm sorry, Life Flight was $1,094, for a total of 14,000, I'm sorry, total charities for 2026 was $10,950, and total charities for 2027 are $14,394. We have a motion. We have a motion. Is there a second? Discussion.
Is motion for accepting the request as written for 14,000?
Well, one motion, what's this one? Oh, okay, so approved last year was $0, $450, $6,000, $250, $1,500, $250, $500 for Safe Voices, and $2,000 and $0 for Life Flight. So this year, it's, they're requesting for 2027, $2,500 for Greene Baptist Church, $300 for Community Concepts, $6,000 for RCAM, $250 for Sexual Assault Center, $1,500 for Seniors Plus, $250 for American Red Cross, $500 for Safe Voices, $2,000 for Anwell Partners, and $1,094 for Life Flight. That's the motion.
My question is, just for a clarification of the motion. The article says...
The motion would be for 2027.
So it's 14,394.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
I thought at one time they decided not to add any more to the present list that they had. And where,
I don't know.
how do they justify their prices for what they're asking for?
That's something you'd have to ask the
It's just
select.
a hands-out type deal?
At this point, we have a motion? Do we have a motion?
Are we in discussion yet?
We will discuss it afterwards. We have a motion and a second discussion.
Discussion. Okay, my name is Kathy Brooks. I volunteer at Seniors Plus, and I'd just like to share with you where our money is going. 1,875 Meals on Wheels were delivered to 13 Greene residents. 96 meals were enjoyed by 17 residents of Greene. 732 requests for information from 122 residents were handled by community service. 55 residents received one-on-one counseling for Medicare. 23 residents attended one or more classes at the Education Center. One resident received non-medical transportation 14 times, and pre-family caregivers, usually it's people dealing with spouses or relatives that have dementia, received 277 hours of support. So we really need the money. Any of the sources that we were getting money from before, the federal government, that kind of thing, has been diminished significantly. We've never had a waiting list for Meals on Wheels. If people needed it, or a doctor called us that they have a patient that needs it, they got it. Now they're on the list. So we need every penny we can get, so please consider.
They was on the existing list, and last year's and this year's are the same. They're not asking for a big increase or anything. But I'm just wondering about the other new ones that are being added on. How are we coming up with the funds that...
I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't answer that question. Yes, Christine?
I don't know what the process, I would propose to amend the motion to delete the funding for Life Flight. And if people wanted to keep the total at 14, I would recommend adding that money to the Baptist Food Pantry, because they do really vital work in town.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
I would just, why does Lifeline asking for $1,094?
Right.
Yeah.
They sent a letter and we put it on there, we leave it to the voters. So you can have that removed, and I agree with Christine, the Green Baptist Church, they've been operating the food pantry there, and they do a great job, and they've been raising money, using their own money, and I think that's a worthy cause. But Lifelight was just, they were seeking funds and sent the letter.
Steve?
Just in case you don't know me, I'm Steve Wood, I'm the state representative. I can tell you the community concept, I've put people to community concept, RCAM, and they've done a lot for people of Greene. Andrew Health, they actually helped me. I had an infection in my knee. They came and did IV antibiotics for me. Safe Voices, they helped 3 people here I know. They had substance abuse right here in town of Greene. They helped just from people that contacted me, put them in. So I highly recommend them. I know some cost helps a lot of people here in Greene. So, I mean, I would, Lifeline, I would just take that money and give it to Baptist Church. That's my opinion.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Kathy Beckbar. I'm new to Greene, and I appreciate everybody's comments. This is a learning curve coming from Lewiston. So, years ago, I worked 21 years at Scott Home Care and Hospice, which is now Antioch. And we used to come to town meetings. I've been to the town of Greene many years ago, just making a plea. Is there information that is submitted with the request as to how much is provided to Greene residents so that you have at least something to say, yeah, it's worth putting it on here? Or you just put the request on here and leave it with the voters not knowing how much is provided to the town?
Yes, we do get things submitted. They have to send a request to us, which is all filled out, and it tells how many, what's their budget, and how many Greene residents that they do supply, services to. So,
Okay,
and
so
then that's when the
somebody-
select board and the budget committee look at these and decide what should be.
Okay, so if it was an organization you all felt wasn't, I don't want to say worthy, that's a bad word, but didn't qualify, I guess, to be on here for us to take action on, you would not put it on?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Sheldon?
Years ago, I was on the budget committee for like 25 years, and everybody that made a request years ago was required to send someone to our budget meeting and make a live presentation to the committee. They brought all the information, they answered all the questions that the budget committee had about salaries, what money actually went to helping others, and how much money went to their salaries and stuff. It was a requirement of the town. You do not send a representative to present to the budget committee. You did not go on the warrant for a donation. That is gone bye-bye. Nobody comes, nobody tells you anything. You don't have the ability to ask them questions face to face. And I really think that the town should go back to that. If you want us to give you money, then you should show up and make a presentation, not just to the budget committee, but also to the selectmen. It was the rules years ago, and it should be again.
Charlie did away with that a few years ago, 2018. But that can be brought back again, because people do ask if they need to come to.
I just think it would be a good idea so that, and many of them actually came to the town meeting and stood up again and defended their requests.
Right.
And I think we should expect that if we're giving away taxpayers' money.
That's what it used to be.
Oh, I was just gonna ask, did Lifeline send something? And if they did, if there's nobody here to speak for them, maybe read what they sent, they're justifying us giving them money.
They did.
It was for training, wasn't it?
We are fortunate to call Maine home. It is a state defined by its rugged beauty, close-knit communities, and resilient people. That spirit of resilience and connection is the heart of Lifelight Maine's mission. Since 1998, we have transported over 4,100 patients, rapidly delivering ICU-level care to people facing the worst moments of their lives: cardiac arrest, strokes, traumatic injuries, and newborn medical emergencies. I'll continue on here. Please consider giving a gift of 1,090, I'm sorry?
Did they talk about how many people in Greene they've assisted?
Not a bit, not a bit.
I think there was some.
There is, hang on a minute, hold on, please. Please consider giving a gift of $1,094 based on a 25 cents per capita rate. We are grateful for your partnership and commitment to our mission. We know that communities like yours have many important priorities. Supporting Lifelight is one of the most direct, impactful ways to invest in the health and safety of Maine's people.
So I believe Lifelight is federally and state funded, so can I make a motion to eliminate and vote on the motion without Lifelight?
There was, I believe, Steve already made the motion.
Has it been
And the
seconded?
motion was to take that money and put it with the Green Baptist Church.
Yeah,
Make the Green
that's my
Baptist Church $3,594.
I would support that because that will serve our main people.
Yes, ma'am.
Our Green people.
I was just gonna suggest, bring that to
Okay. All right, so at this point, I'll reread this.
Wait, rereading?
No.
Pardon?
Skip the rereading.
You know what the amount, just what's the total now? 13, 14?
It's $14,394.
Good enough.
You didn't let me finish, sir.
Yeah.
I was gonna suggest, since the Baptist church goes, or the food pantry goes from 0 to 2,500, which I think is a great cause, we should just take the Lifelight off altogether, not add it in addition to it. So we maybe reduce it to 13,000.
There's already a motion on the floor that's been seconded to move it to,
That's a problem. I think that we should be having the discussion before we.
it's not a problem at all, because this is what it is.
But you don't allow discussions before you make motions.
We have discussions. Yes, Sheldon?
If you have a motion to move with some money, you also have a motion to approve it, so you have to vote on the motion to move the money first, and then you have to vote on the original motion.
Okay. Very good. So at this point, Christine, what we'll have to do is vote on the motion to move the money first. Okay? All those in favor of moving the $1,094 to the Green Baptist Church Food Pantry? All opposed? Motion carries. And then $14,394 for Article 39. All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Article 40, to see what sum of money the citizens of Greene will vote to raise and or appropriate for the sports complex committee expense account for the ensuing year. No, the concept planning is complete. The Sports Complex Committee requests $94,600 for the cost of engineering plans in order to move this project forward.
I have a letter, Sarah couldn't be here today, but she did send me, a message for me to read. I apologize that I could not be here in person today as I am sick. I still wanted to provide you an update on the Sports Complex Committee because the original plan was to come before you to request funding for the next phase of the project. As outlined in the meeting material, the town could choose to approve the $94,600 request. This would fund the engineering and permitting work needed to move the project towards construction. However, my recommendation at this time is to pause the project. There are all significant concerns about cost, unanswered questions, and the time and capacity needed to move this work forward. I believe we need to take a step back and reassess whether this is the right direction, who is able to lead the work, and whether there is enough active committee support to continue in a productive way. At this point, that level of support and availability is not where it needs to be. While I had hoped to help carry this project through to completion, I cannot do that work alone. A pause would give the town time to determine whether there is enough interest and participation to move forward, whether other field expansion options could be considered, and whether there may be a faster or more cost-effective way to meet the town's needs for additional field space. I want to be clear, I'm not saying this project is unimportant. I am not saying there is no need. I am saying that this is the right time to step back, reevaluate, and decide what is realistic before committing additional funds. So today, that decision is yours. Pause the project and gather more answers, or approve the $94,600 request to move forward with the main land developments for engineering and permitting.
Okay, the completion of this article is Selectmen and Budget Committee recommend leave it to voters. Any discussion? Yes?
Say, since Sarah's been the lead on this committee, she's not here at this time, that we should go with her recommendation, pause it, if she's done all this legwork, put in all this time for all us people in the town. She's not paid for any of this, she's doing this on her own. I think we should agree and honor her request. If she finds the need that we need to step back, there must be a reason that we need to step back and reassess this at this time.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Yes?
Just a question, where is this sports complex supposed to go?
They were thinking about putting it up behind the Public Works garage on School Street.
Yes, Steve?
So, I do believe that we have to make a positive motion first and then vote again, correct?
Well, the motion's been made already. The motion is to put it on pause.
Just moderator.
Yes?
I make a motion to allocate $0 to this.
Do we have a motion? Do we have a second for that motion? We have a motion and a second to have $0 brought to this article. Any further discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Article 41, to see what sum of money the citizens of Greene will vote to raise and or appropriate for the Conservation Commission expense account for the ensuing year. Selectmen, on a 5-0-0 vote, recommend $2,300, and Budget Committee recommends $2,300 on a 7-0-0 vote. We have a motion. We have a motion and a second. We have a second. Discussion. Seeing none. All those in favor of the motion? All those opposed? Motion passes. Article 42, to see what sum of money the citizens of Greene will vote to raise and/or appropriate for parks and recreation in the ensuing year. Selectmen recommend $11,124 and a 500 vote. Budget Committee recommends $11,124 and a 600 vote. Discussion. Yes?
What is this for? What are they gonna do with $11,000?
This is for all the ball fields. This is for all the ball fields and the building at the rec drive.
Okay, thank you.
Mowing, pretty much.
Yeah.
Correct. Pretty much mowing.
Any further discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Article 43, to see what sum of money the town will vote to raise and/or appropriate for a Parks and Recreation Capital Reserve account. Selectmen recommend $0. Budget Committee recommends $0. Note, this account currently has $26,514.22. We have a motion. We have a motion. We have a second. We have seconds. Discussion. Seeing none. All those in favor of the motion? Opposed? Article passes. Article 44, to see what sum of money, if any, the town will vote to raise and/or appropriate to the Sabattis Lake Dam Commission expense account for the interlocal agreement for the ensuing year. Selectmen recommend $3,000 and a 500 vote. Budget Committee recommends $3,000 and a 700 vote. We have a motion and a second. Discussion. Yes, Steve.
So the dam is done. They're gonna have a grand opening sometime in May. Carol will be notified, they'll put it on the website and stuff. It's a beautiful dam. Fishway is gonna be, they say that, there's one more dam on Spadder River down in Lisbon. That's gonna be taken out this summer sometime. And we should have otherwise running all the way up into Spadder next year.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
3,000 each, yes.
Yes,
They all don't pay, nobody pays.
that's correct. All right. Article 44, to see what sum of money, if any, the town will vote to raise and or appropriate for the Sabatis Lake Dam Commission expense account for the interlocal agreement for the ensuing year. Selectmen, $3,000, Budget Committee, $3,000. All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Article 45, to see what sum of money the citizens of Greene will vote to raise and or appropriate for the operation of the Julia Adams Morse Memorial Library for the ensuing year. Selectmen recommend $105,898. Budget Committee recommends $105,898. The Selectmen did it in a 5-0-0 vote, and the Budget Committee did it in a 6-0-0 vote. We have a motion? We have a motion and a second. Discussion? Yes.
If you look at the book, you'll see that our budget request is significantly higher than it usually is. And that's because we need to replace the air conditioning units at the library. So the selectmen and the budget committee both approved this would be a one-time expense. And we expect to get reimbursement from Efficiency Maine, which will help offset some of the costs. And that money will go back, whatever we get from Efficiency Maine will go back to the town.
Thank you, Christine. Anybody else? Yes, Sheldon.
In fiscal year 2025, the library has an overdraft of $1,062. I questioned earlier, I didn't get a good response, but I noticed on page 21 in the auditor's report that the auditor apparently had added the library parks recreation and took the $1,069 out of parks recreation to pay the overdraft. I wondered how that was legal.
Because it was put in the wrong account.
What was?
There was, I can't remember what exactly it was. I don't have that information.
Isn't this the auditor's report?
Yes,
The auditor has his argument with the money between articles.
we did it. We changed it. There was over, I don't remember, if you come into my office, I can tell you what exactly the account was, but it was quite a few,
Well, those things added to parks recreation.
right, it was supposed to come out of Parks and Recreation.
Well, how do you do that?
You tell our treasurer to switch it from to a general journal, and it was, our last person that was doing the books did she made the check out to the wrong account.
Why was that corrected back when I asked in August?
It was right after you asked.
Why is it still in?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Any further discussion?
You can check with Bernice.
Check with who?
Bernice,
Seeing no further discussion,
Or the selectmen could do that for me, but
all those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Article 46, to see if the town of Greene will vote to authorize the municipal officers to expend up to $25,000 from the undesignated fund balance surplus funds for the purpose of replacing malfunctioning wastewater disposal systems pursuant to 30-A MRSA 83-428 and dangerous buildings pursuant to 17 subsection 285-1, but only after the selectmen have have been recovered by a special tax against any real estate as provided under 30A MRSA subsection 3428, 4B, and Title 17 subsection 2853. Any such tax will be levied against the real estate and interest will be charged at the annual rate of 60 days after commitment of said tax. Strict accounting will be maintained at the office. Thank you. I can spell it right. Okay. The selectmen recommend $25,000 in a 5-0-0 vote. Budget committee recommends $25,000 in a 7-0-0 vote. Do we have a motion? Do we have a motion? Do we have a second? Yes?
We pay this every year, this is a state mandate, right?
Yes.
Have we ever used this amount? Is there something in reserve?
We're not raising the money, we're just getting permission to use it out of the undesignated fund balance.
Got it.
So it's already there.
We have used it in the past.
Yes. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. 47, Article 47, to see what sum of, if any, the citizens of Greene will vote to raise and or appropriate for the capital reserve account. Selectmen recommend $25,000 in a 5-0-0 vote. Budget committee recommends $25,000 in a 7-0-0 vote. Note,
So I have to explain, finish first.
the account has $117,380.65.
When we went to put this town meeting, we sent it to, where's Carolyn? We sent it to our printers, it got all jumbled. And we were like the last minute, we were a day late. And so we tried to fix everything. And even this part was all jumbled. And it's like, oh, it takes me 4 days to do these figures. So we did get it right, but there are a few mistakes still. So I apologize for that.
Okay. Do we have a motion? Do we have a motion and a second? Do we have a second? Discussion. Seeing none. All those in favor? Yes.
We like to keep a capital reserve in case there's any emergencies that come up. Anything, and it's used for any emergencies or anything like that.
Does that answer your question, dear? Thank you. All right. Article 47, to see what sum of, if any, the citizens of Greene will vote to raise and or appropriate for capital reserve account. Selectmen and budget committee recommend $25,000. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Article 48, to see what sum of money the citizens of Greene will vote to raise and or appropriate for debt service for the ensuing year. Selectmen recommend $364,803. Budget committee recommends $364. $3,064 and $803. Whoa, $364,803. Okay. And the selectmen did it in a 5-0-0 vote, and budget committee did it in a 7-0-0 vote. We have a motion and a second. Discussion. Yes?
Could you just explain Public Works Garage/roads, what that is exactly? It's the bond, isn't it?
Yes.
It's the bond.
Yeah, that's the one that we had to build a new town garage. And, we did paving, we did quite a bit of paving for that too.
All right. Yes?
This is 5% of our total budget. So when do we expect to get rid of these obligations? Is it something ongoing every year, or are we borrowing money
It
for
was a
what?
10-year bond, and I believe we have 2 more payments.
2 more payments, yes.
2 more payments, and that would do away with all of this?
Yep.
2 years.
Correct.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Article 49, to see what action the town wishes to take regarding year-end balances, except those covered by law. Selectmen recommend lapse to undesignated fund balance. Budget committee recommends lapse to undesignated fund balance. We have a motion. Motion, second. Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Article passes. Article 51, to see if the citizens of Greene will vote to authorize the Board of Selectmen and/or the town manager to apply for and accept state and federal grants and grants from nonprofit organizations, donations, or other revenues on behalf of the town for municipal purposes, including when necessary, the authority to sign grant contracts, funds, and to appropriate and expend grant funds and other funds for authorized purposes as the Board of Selectmen deem in the best interest of the town during fiscal year July 1st, 2026, and through June 30th, 2027. Do we have a motion? Do we have a second? Discussion? Yes?
Yes, we'll do this one, we'll go back. Thank you.
What's that? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Article 50, to see if the citizens of Greene will vote to authorize the Board of Selectmen to use capital reserve accounts to meet the town's financial obligations, should it become necessary in anticipation of tax returns, of taxes, and to return the funds once the taxes are collected. We have a motion. Do we have a second? Discussion. Seeing none. All those in favor? Motion carries. There we go. Article 50 is done. All right. Article 52. Shall the citizens of Greene repeal the ordinance entitled Greene Recall of Elected Officials Ordinance adopted on November 16, 1989, in accordance with the Maine Home Rule Authority, and to follow and comply with the state law titled 30-A, subsection 2505, said repeal to be effective immediately upon passage of this article. Note, copies of the Greene Recall of Elected Officials available at the town office. Do we have a motion?
A motion that we do not repeal it. We stay with what we got.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to not repeal it.
I motion that we do not change it, we keep it to what we got.
Right, but I think we have to vote on this.
Hold on.
Did we already have a motion on this?
We have a motion from Glenn.
You gotta vote on this, not something else.
That's correct.
You gotta vote no on this and then approve what he's saying.
If your motion would be amended to,
The article says, shall the citizens of Greene repeal the ordinance? I'm saying no. My motion is to not repeal it.
There's already a motion on it, like, to accept. So now we have to vote that down first, and then you can. Did we have a motion? Or yours?
we have Glenn's motion to, okay, thank you, Christine. We have a motion, do we have a second on this article? We have a second? Okay. This is, the motion that we're voting on at this point is to not repeal it.
It is as written. As written.
Okay, thank you. Pardon?
Right, yes, right.
Let me amend my motion. My motion is to accept this.
Okay, there we go. All right, so, I'm sorry?
If you amend the motion, you need to amend the second.
Okay, yes, thank you.
I did that.
All right,
Now discussion.
any further discussion?
I have discussion.
Go ahead, Sheldon.
I don't think it's necessary to have this, I didn't run again.
That's not the reason. If it was, we would have put it in place a long time ago.
All right.
So,
Yes, Steve?
See, this is another reason why we should have our own charter.
so I just want to explain why we wanted this change. So this was back in 1989, and it says that you need at least 20% of the registered voters as determined at the time of the last preceding regular municipal election, which would be, at that election, so we had 2,982 registered voters. So 20% of that would be 596 signatures that were needed to get someone recalled, just to get them on the books and on to be a vote. If we go ahead with what the state recommends, then, which is, it would be, so the number of voters equal to at least 10% of the number of votes cast in the municipality in the last gubernatorial election. So, in our last gubernatorial election, we had 2,207 votes, which would be 221 signatures needed to put a recall for one of the selectmen. So this, I've just been updating a lot of the ordinances and policies and stuff, and this was an ordinance, so it had to be through the legislative body, and you guys had to vote on it. So we're just trying to go with the same more like like actually what Steve says, what we need a charter or what the state statutes are. So. It's
Okay.
just outdated.
You all set? Okay, Article 52, shall the citizens of Greene repeal the ordinance entitled Greene Recall of Elected Officials Ordinance adopted on November 16, 1989, in accordance with the Union Home Rule Authority, and to follow and comply with the state law titled 30-A subsection 2505, said repeal to be effective immediately upon passage of this article. All those in favor? All those opposed? All those in favor? Please.
Changing the ordinance.
All those opposed? Sixteen to 11.
I'm curious, is the intention of the board, I'm not saying to go to that, I'm just curious, is the intention of the board to make it easier to recall?
I think Carol explained, just by.
Yeah, Carol did explain in discussion period.
I mean, she explained the mechanism, so we haven't had any type of discussion as to, you know.
Okay, discussion on the article? Yes, sir.
You have to apologize.
Article passes. Article 53, shall the citizens of Greene and the ordinance entitled Greene Land Use Ordinance as follows.
Mr. Moderator, could we waive the reading of the ordinance and maybe someone will just
Oh, yeah.
explain?
I'd be glad to.
Or if someone on the board can explain, it looks like a.
Well, it's, the land use ordinance, it's 2026,
It looks like it's just.
land use ordinance amendment. And, yeah, it goes on and on.
It's right here. Oh, there it is.
Basically, two titles. The first one, just something I thought, the citation was to non-existent. Section, Colorado 212J, wasn't there, so found by one previous correction. The second one refers to something that is on EDC, and I believe in my section, and this to her back to that section. Basically, typos.
Just say typo.
Just say typos, Brent.
Say typo.
These are typos.
Okay.
The first one was just one that we picked up, referred to a non-existent citation. We found the correct citation and we fixed it. Second one was a DEP change from a couple of years ago. They deleted the entire section. And we had a citation back for that deleted section. So two typo corrections.
So, Any further discussions on this article? Seeing none. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Article 54, to see what sum, if any, the town will vote to use to reduce the total commitment. Revenues, excise tax would be $984,000. Revenue sharing would be $690,325. Taxes would be $19,000. Lien costs would be $1,600. Other projected income, interest, and agent fees would be $175,000. Homestead reimbursement would be $250,000. Veterans reimbursement was $2,000. Tree growth reimbursement is $3,500. BETE reimbursement is $642. Local road assistance, $80,000. Transfer station, $24,100. And undesignated fund balance, $1 million. We have a motion. We have a motion. Second. We have seconds. Okay. Discussion.
I know you answered this already, Carol, but after we take $1 million out, how much is left in under?
3.2. 3.2 million.
Any further discussion? Yes, Sheldon.
The budget also ends in June, and there will be more money left over from the budget with the books closed in June. So we will be right back up to $4 million.
Thank you. Anybody else back? No? Okay. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Motion to adjourn? Yes, Steve.
So, out campaigning, I've had a lot of, that's why I've been pushing this, the town needs a charter. I've had a lot of people ask me why the town doesn't have its own charter. I would like to ask the Board of Selectmen to do a straw poll and the members' election. Would the town like to have its own charter? And have a, when you go in and vote, have a slip of paper, yes or no question, and let's see if the town really wants a new charter or not. And if the town does say, yeah, the town wants a new charter, next town meeting, get a charter committee, arrange charter meeting and stuff, so that we have a new charter.
Having a charter.
What's that?
What's the benefits of having a charter?
Well, benefits of having a charter, we wouldn't have a problem of, who gets the who gets paid, decide who, decides the pay of, the town manager, the road crew, whatever, when we're gonna have, town meeting, when we get to vote on the selectmen, like, say, for example, town of Savannah votes November on all their selectmen, all their, school board members. That way, it's, a bigger number of people vote on their selectmen, not, what, how many people we have, vote this year for selectmen, around 400 people?
500.
500, okay. During an election for governor or state rep, you usually get 2,600 people voting. What, 22?
Yep.
So you got, now you get 2,200 people voting for your selectmen or your school board, not 500 people. That's a big difference.
The big difference, but you also have to change town meeting, because the town meeting, having town out of the vote.
If you have a town charter, you can state that in your town charter, when you want to hold your town meeting.
Well, that's very hard for town meeting.
Well, to have a strong vote from the town people. We have a governor's, vote this year. We'll have a lot of people come and vote. We have a strong vote. If the town people want a charter, let them vote.
There has to be a lot of research done to show how it would happen. Because every time we're going to change,
We have voted to adjourn. Pardon? Well, bring it to the selectmen.